Doggy Style reigns supreme. Did Fantastic Four blow our dicks off? Sayonara, Armor Wars. More like armor bores. Don't want to armor snore, am I right? Denis Dune, Desire, Gun, Guy, Eyes, Joker, Buffy makes my pants a stuffy. Will Forte's a cussin', and so much more here on News Dump. Sorry to ad-lib right there. Sorry to
I mean, come on. Who's writing headlines here?
I couldn't help myself. You know how I am.
Yeah, no, I get it. You're always riffing.
No, because I didn't want to come at you later in the pod and be like, oh, I would have said this. I would have done this. And maybe I should have just given you credit for it right there and acted like you had written it. But no, I want the credit.
Credit to I'll give myself credit there. I spelled sayonara correctly on the first typing. No spell check.
And did take me a second to realize what it was.
I was thinking that was going to trip you up. So credit to you on that one.
Like, how would you write it out phonetically, though, so that I would... Actually, no, let's not answer that question. Let's not bother with that right now. That's stupid. Mac, before we get to what is at the movie theaters this week, ahead of a giant weekend next weekend. That's first big weekend of the year, I would say. Mm-hmm. Box office heading into this week. Last weekend, Dog Man took home the box office crown with $36 million. $40 million budget. I believe I have read it is also going to win this week, probably around 20 to 25 million once again. So Dogman is going to crush it up until Captain America, Bridget Jones's Diary, all those other movies come out.
That's a nice little tip for Dogman, which I never saw an ad for until like 3 weeks ago. So credit to them on that, hitting the mark just right.
Companion, almost $10 million. So pretty good job right there. I am looking forward to seeing that, along with the other horror movie that's coming out this week, which is Hard Eyes. And then Mufasa, One of Them Days, Flight Risk all did their thing. Big drop off for Flight Risk, though.
Yeah, pretty predictable. 52% drop off from week 1 to week 2. Drops from 1st to 5th. Companion getting pretty strong reviews, Goo. Like you said, I think we're both kind of looking forward to this one. 93% critics, 90% audience on Roddy T's, a 70 on Metacritic, so doing pretty well. That in One of Them Days I've been wanting to see for a couple of weeks now. So Companion also snuck up on us. I didn't see a trailer for that until 2 or 3 weeks ago. And then Goo, opening this weekend, Super Bowl weekend, really interesting here. So you mentioned Hard Eyes, the Valentine's Day type of killer thing. It's getting solid reviews early on here. And then, unfortunately, the new Ke Huy Quan movie, Love Hurts, has a 23% and a 37 on Metacritic. So it sounds like this movie's terrible.
Yeah, and not to talk too much about the movie draft. We just had it this past weekend. Podcast came out on Goose Day. Love Hurts is one of the movies that I took just because we knew that it was coming out. Is this going to be a 0-point movie?
I think it might make 25 million. You might get 10 points.
I don't think it does make 25 million.
Because then you're right. Because then next weekend is Captain America, so it might get buried. But it might be a 0.
I brought up in the podcast. I'm like, this only has 1 week to make money.
Yeah. And then you took Bridget Jones, by the way, which is not getting a theatrical release. I realized after the fact.
I'm not going to lose.
It's coming out on like Prime. I will say, for any of you that have not listened to our 2025 movie auction draft, this is the first time in the 9 years we've been doing it, 8 years we've been doing it, that I feel like every team has a chance. In years past, there was like clearly someone that wasn't going to win. I think this year, all 4 squads have a legit chance.
I'm off to a pretty cold start, man.
That's true. And then one of your final picks, we found out, got bumped to 2026. So you only have 19 movies technically.
Which sucks because if I just kept one of my movies from last year, I'm pretty sure it's going to eventually see the light of day.
We'll get to that. that.
News dump. We got our first look, our first trailer for Fantastic Fur. That's another dog movie. Fantastic Four, First Steps. This, I think the aesthetic of it and the overall back and forth between the characters, dynamite.
It looks really, really cool. They've really nailed this Jetsons futuristic / past type of feeling to it. I thought the Thing looks great. I love how he looks more comic accurate than just a rocky human. We got a little bit of flame on. We didn't hear him say it, but we saw that. We saw some invisibility. Herbie the robot. The only thing we didn't get from the 4 was Mr. Fantastic's stretchy ability. We didn't see Silver Surfer at all in this trailer, and we only got the back of Galactus's head. But from what we saw, they really held back, it seems like, from the fun and the action. So we're just really getting to know these characters in this first little teaser trailer. And it seems like, Goo, and people have been on top of this for a few months now. Obviously, family is a thing amongst the 4. It seems like they're really laying on the family thick to introduce also children into this movie, Reed and Sue's kids. So that might be a big thing that plays up here.
Right. I've read some rumors that she might have either already given birth or be with child in this movie, and she gives birth in space.
Ooh, ooh. We also got a glimpse of John Malkovich's character, and he might be playing this character called the Red Ghost, which apparently is a character who essentially tries to copy the Fantastic Four and how they got their powers.
Also, outside chance he's just playing John Malkovich.
That would be fine too.
He just shows up. He's like, "Hi guys, I'm John." You mentioned not seeing Mr. Fantastic's powers on the screen here. Is there any chance that in this movie, to save money, they just don't show it at all? It's all off screen, or it's him teasing that he's going to do it?
No chance on that. It is interesting. There's been obviously some good.
The big first, guys. I can't just stretch.
There's been some good sleuthing amongst internet folks about the board he's drawing on with chalk and some time travel shit. So really the big question surrounding this movie is the timeline and the Earth or world it takes place on.
Yeah.
So obviously it's probably taking place in roughly the 60s in some sort of Earth. Now, we don't know if it's our MCU's main Earth, which isn't 616, by the way. I forget what number they gave it. And they get pushed out of that and will come back, or they get pushed out of that into our MCU Earth. So that's honestly the biggest question surrounding how this whole thing's going to play out.
I think we also need to give credit once again. You already mentioned it, but the look and the sound of the thing is just so good. Yep. And I don't mean to attack film Twitter every single week on this show, but people saying that it doesn't look good, just stop.
Yeah, I don't know. So the Fant 4 stick, the thing looked horrible, really bad. I got to give credit to the original movies that had Michael Chiklis as a thing with what you call it, like prosthetics. Yeah. He looked pretty good. There was no real CGI there. I did like that look, but I feel like this look is awesome.
I was also scrolling on YouTube, as one does, and a video came up for me with the title of "The Fantastic Four Already Failed." I'm just like, guys, come on. We've seen one trailer. Can we wait until July?
And I also like how seemingly, because it looks like in this world, they're, at least to start with, like the only real heroes, like the first family of Marvel sort of thing. And so I like it how it seems to be starting off a little more serious and a little less zany than some of the Marvel stuff has been. And then it might devolve into that once they're introduced to this whole multiverse saga.
I'm done complaining about other people now. I'm a positive person, Mac. I like to put positive energy out into the world.
I would say as a podcast, well, we are cautiously optimistic often for projects. When it comes to people, we're pretty glass half empty.
No, I am always positive. News dump. Got a trailer for Jurassic World Rebirth. This thing looks like shit.
I don't get.
I'm kidding. That was a joke because I'm always positive.
I just don't get like. I'm gonna see this movie. I'm probably gonna enjoy it more than most because I have with these Jurassic World movies, minus the last one. I just don't know how many more dives we have into this world. Like, so they're showing us this island, which apparently was the breeding ground for the animals for the original Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And then some of these animals were too dangerous to put on to Jurassic Park, so they stayed there.
Like they weren't fully formed. They didn't form properly into the dinosaurs.
They're bastard dinos.
That's kind of interesting, I guess. But if that's the case, just go full horror. Like, just really lean into it.
It also seems like clearly there are aquatic dinos here. And so are they just staying around that area? They haven't ventured off into the rest of the ocean? I don't quite get the science behind
Maybe the
this. I
water
mean,
gets too deep.
ScarJo's great. Mahershala Ali is great. This cast is pretty good. I'm sure once again we'll like the movie more than or I will. I just don't know. Like we're really grasping for things here at this point.
I was excited for this movie for 3 days. And then, but knowing the entire time, I'm like, as soon as I see a trailer or this movie, I know I'm not going to enjoy this. Um, but yeah, Pete Blackburn made a great point on X that at what point do they just give the dinosaurs guns? To which I
I just
responded, soon they're going to make a dinosaur out of guns. Gunnosaurus.
I've been waiting for them to give us more dinos in the real world and make it more dystopian
They
in regular
opened it
humans
up for
having
that.
huh?
They opened it up for that. The end of
I
Jurassic
know,
Park
right.
5 was that. The end of
Yes.
Jurassic Park 2 was that. They keep on opening up the idea. The end of Jurassic Park 3, the dinosaurs leave the island. The end of all of these movies, dinosaurs leave the island. And we're like, oh, what are they going to do next? Oh, wait, the same thing? I guess.
Like, I'm so much more into the idea of not quite like A Quiet Place, but like A Quiet Place where they're roaming the whole world. And if I
Yeah.
leave my door, like sometimes you come outside to a flock of turkeys in the morning and it's jarring. Well, how about a flock of raptors? You know, that would suck, but it would be fun for a movie.
Yeah, like what if Professor Raptor was teaching a class at MIT? Give us the option.
Yeah, and maybe you do have after a few years some of these dinosaurs start to assimilate because they can talk.
News dump. Got a trailer for Hurry Up Tomorrow. This stars The Weeknd, Jenna Ortega, and Barry Keoghan.
I'll tell you, we just did research on probably like 100 movies for the movie draft this past couple weeks. This never came up for me, and it's coming out this year. Goo, you know what I realized between this and his most recent releases, and I can't pretend I ever was a fan. I think I fucking hate The Weeknd. I don't like him. I don't like his music. I don't like his acting. I don't like his shtick.
You
I'm
don't like
out.
his spelling?
Yeah, I'm out on The Weeknd. Out.
Yeah, I don't like how he stabs Adam Sandler on the back in Uncut Gems. That's still good. I'm like, dude, come on. I know Julia Fox, but
Here, at what level of hotness need a woman, need a female, need a love interest be for you to stab someone? Actually stab someone.
ooh. So this isn't like, are we just saying in a movie or in like real life?
Let's say both.
Let's say
How hot
in
how
real
hot
life,
would someone
Mac,
need to be for you to knife fight someone?
in real life, Mac, I am spoken for. I will stab anyone when it comes to my wife.
Well, let's say 22-year-old Goo. How many women on the planet would there be that you would stab someone for?
Oh, probably all of them at that point. I'm just, if it's a warm body.
If I'm 22, 10 drinks in,
Yeah.
90% of the planet.
I'm like, oh, yo, what are you doing? You're stealing my girl. I don't even know you. But right now, yeah, if you even talk to my wife, I'm gonna chop you in the neck. You talking my wife for? News dump. Got a trailer for the most anticipated movie of the summer, and that is the Smurf movie. This is Rihanna's Smurf movie. And if you think that's a joke, nope. This is Rihanna's Smurf movie.
So are they rebooting this Smurfs franchise? Is that what's
Did you
happening?
not see the trailer?
Didn't they give us 3 movies already?
I don't know, man.
I don't know either.
In the trailer, first off, one Smurf said that he smurfed his pants. And I'm like, does he mean that he jizzed his pants? Like, you can go a lot of different ways in smurfing your pants.
You could.
Rihanna teased it. Rihanna is Smurfette. They have nothing but Rihanna songs in it. And this just looks like they put a blue tint on the trolls. Which the troll is very profitable.
That's what I'm thinking of. I've confused them. I was thinking trolls. This whole time I was thinking trolls. All right, yeah. So this is different. How about that?
Yeah, and then Nick Offerman as one of the Smurfs is like, you'll face new foes. And then they tease Gargamel. He is the oldest foe there is. If anyone knows Smurf lore, Gargamel is it.
Goo, I would knife fight someone for Rihanna, that's for sure.
I think I would knife fight someone for Gargamel. Him and his cat.
Yeah, meow.
You know who I liked better? Dr. Claw. It's Inspector Gadget, though.
Yeah.
Oh, they
Yeah.
should make a new Inspector Gadget movie. What is French
Who
Stewart up to?
I was gonna say, who would you cast as
French
your
Stewart,
Inspector
hashtag my
Gadget?
Inspector Gadget. Go fuck yourself, Matthew Broderick. Come on.
Give me Timothy Chalamet as Inspector Gadget.
Like, with the advances in film that we've had over the last 25 years, we could get a great Inspector Gadget. Give me
Glenn
Timothy
Powell?
Chalamet, that's fine.
Glenn
Glenn
Powell as
Powell as
Inspector Gadget?
Inspector Gadget? Wow. Imagine how sexy that would be.
I'll tell you, we're solving the world's problems one
It
by
would be
one
called Sexy Inspector Gadget.
here. And Sexter Gadget?
Go,
Ah,
Gadget
didn't
cock.
work. Nailed it.
Points. News dump. Trailer for Final Destination Bloodlines.
Yeah, it's there. People Keith will go see this movie.
Yeah. News dump. Directed by Violent Nights, Tommy Wirkola. I saw this on X. We got a teaser for Spermageddon.
Explain this one to me.
I thought that I had accidentally went to, a wrong
A hub?
Twitter account. Yeah, someone,
Mhm.
and I'm like, what is this? Because it's people there. It's animated characters during it. And then I'm assuming that they're gonna voice all the sperm, and that's gonna be the main.
Oh, the characters are sperms.
That's my guess. I only saw
Okay.
a teaser of the two humans doing it, and maybe they make a baby, and maybe the whole movie is like sperm in the egg. Sounds disgusting.
Cool, as you would know, both as former sperms, this is really playing into our interests.
This is like everyone can relate to this. Everyone at one point has been a sperm.
Literally, every
Yeah.
person on the planet can relate to Spermageddon.
I'm surprised you didn't see the headline and go and check out this 20-second tease.
I was confused by it, and I was looking forward to you telling me about Spermageddon.
I didn't do a very good job, and I might have just
You
made it
didn't.
up. This might have been a fever dream. I don't know. If it is, dibs. But I will still get the director of Violent Night to do it, though.
Tommy
You
Wirkola. Good name.
Got some rumors for Black Panther.
Yeah, so Marvel exec, soon to be former Marvel exec, Nate Moore has been in the news recently, and he was giving another interview, and it was in regards to T'Challa and the future of Black Panther in the MCU. And there's been all sorts of rumors, and has been for the 4 years now, since Boseman has passed on, about recasting him. And I think they did a good job in the last movie, kind of, dancing around the fact that he passed, introducing his son. And
Yeah, they
Nate Moore
landfilled him.
Nate Moore says there's no truth to those rumors in recasting him. Never say never to anything, of course, and it is comic book movies, but listen to this, Gil. This is good
Go
advice.
ahead.
But everything you read online is not true. How about that? But so far, MCU has no plans on recasting T'Challa.
News dump. Sadly, Mac, as we go on, we remember all the times we've had together. Armor Wars. Looks like this show will not be coming to be.
Yep. Nate Moore, here he is again. He was speaking with the playlist. And of course, Armor Wars originally was imagined, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. It was announced as a series. And then essentially what happened was, I think, because of the cost and the lack of interest, they crunched it down from a series into a movie, and then just nothing ever came of it. They were talking about it for, 3 or 4 years now, casting, shooting. Cheadle was still hyping it up. And then when Cheadle started doing stuff last year for Secret Invasion, he finally started talking about, I don't know if this is ever going to happen. So Moore said, so that means we don't know. So that means we had to slow down some things that were on the front burner, he clarified. It doesn't mean we'll never make it, but it does mean we just have to be a little more considered so that every time out, audiences are guaranteed quality. So I think the fact that a Don Cheadle-led show, Secret Invasion, sucked for most people, and that was going to be kind of a launching point for maybe this. They're like, all right, finally, let's take this out to pasture.
News dump. Also got updates for The Last of Us.
Yeah, bear with me on this one. And I think this is actually the most interesting news of the week. So obviously Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann are the two showrunners there. Mason says we can expect this series to go beyond 3 seasons. So just as a reminder, season 2 is coming up in a couple of months. This is going to go beyond 3, he's predicting, which means the second game will be adapted over at least 3 seasons. And HBO hasn't officially greenlit the 3rd season yet, but I'm sure that's going to happen soon. He also, and I think smartly, says how far past 3 seasons, he's not sure. They're not pigeonholed into just telling one story. They're going to see how this thing evolves. And then Druckmann said, we have a plan. We know what we need to do going forward, but we couldn't tell you right now exactly how many episodes or how many seasons it's going to take to get there, which I like. I like that they're not going into it saying we need 4 seasons of 8 or 10 episodes, and we just got to make that work. They're taking their stories, telling them, and if it's 7, 8, 9 episodes, it is what it is. And that shows you for season 2, it's only going to be 7 episodes, which is a bummer because season 1 was so great and we've been looking forward to this. But at the same time, tell your good story. Don't stretch it. Don't shorten it. Just tell your story and we'll appreciate it. And plus, we already know we're getting a 3rd and probably a 4th season. And Mason describes these season 2 episodes as high calorie dense episodes. If you consider action and drama and scope to be the things that create an epic nature, each one of these episodes packs quite a wallop. You will not be bored. And they did a good amount of world building in season 1. I think we'll finish off sort of the world building in season 2. And then the end of season 2 plus 3 and 4 will probably be nonstop action and drama. They're also going to be diving into some of the deleted material from the video game, some of which actually ended up being presented in the remastered editions of part 2. And some casting news here, Goo, as well. Catherine O'Hara is expected to play a role that hasn't been seen in the games, and she's not the only one. They said there's a pretty prominent character that is talked a lot about in the game, similar to what we did with Frank in season 1, that is in this season. There's a very, very cool casting that I hope we can talk about soon. I love that. I love just like the little morsels, like, ooh, look out for this, because Murray Bartlett, who played Frank in that season 1 episode, that I don't even remember if that episode won an Emmy or what. That was one of the greatest episodes of television of all time. So if they keep striving for that shit, we're in good hands here.
News dump. Denis Villeneuve had a plan to work on another project before Dune Messiah, but because of our desire, the people's desire, and most likely the money that he'll be getting for Dune Messiah, he will jump on that as his next project.
Yep, this is basically the opposite of the Batman 2. And I don't know. I don't honestly, I can't say if it's better or worse that he's jumping right back into it. I do think removing yourself from the project gives you a nice, objective look at things. But at the same time, the second movie just finished. He's starting to work on Dune Messiah. So also being in on it the whole time maybe makes it better. I'm not really sure. I'm just glad we're not going to have to wait like 5 years for Dune Messiah.
News dump. David Dasmalchian said that the greatest career dream that he has is to play the Joker. I love David Dasmalchian. You love David Dasmalchian. If David Dasmalchian is my Joker, I'm not happy. I'm sorry, David Dasmalchian, but please.
And obviously, Dasmalchian is a gun guy. He's been in a number of gun projects.
He's already been Polka Dot Man.
Yeah.
He was in The Dark Knight.
He's almost too goofy to play the Joker. But again, he is like, I could see him transforming himself for the role. But I think there's so many people out there that I'm not going to say deserving, but that would probably make more sense than Dasmalchian.
2 things. Number 1, I feel like if you asked, 1 million people this question, what's your dream role? Like most people point at the Joker. That's number 1.
True too.
That's such an easy thing to point at.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I don't see Dasmalchian, if he ever is a Batman villain again or a DC villain again, whatever it is. I think you have like tiers of villains, like well-known villains. I think the highest that he could get is on that 3rd tier.
Yeah, you know what? He doesn't have the star power, but I think in many ways he could play a lot of the same characters. He's like a Jim Carrey type to me. So like,
no,
he can never really play a super serious villain is what I'm saying. Like there's always going to be that bit of zaniness to him. And so I just don't don't think he could ever really play the Joker as much as he might want to. I just feel like he's always going to play like an offbeat type of character.
I disagree with you completely on Carrie. I think he's proven to be actually a very good, serious actor, and
I didn't say bad, and nowhere did I say bad.
He's an actual star.
But when Jim Carrey plays a character like that, it's always zany and offbeat. You know, it's because part of it is because he's Jim Carrey.
When you bring up David Dasmalchian to a normal person, you have to explain who he is for at least 30 seconds.
Oh, I'm not saying he's on the same star level as Jim Carrey. I'm saying he plays similar characters when we're talking like villainous characters. They're not that far off from what Jim Carrey would do with that character.
News down. Invincible season 3 episodes are out right now. It has a 100% critic score.
Yep. If you're listening to this, you can go watch those first 3 episodes if you'd like. I'll probably watch them in a couple weeks once there's maybe 4 or 5 or 6 episodes out. I'm hoping this picks back up on the engine and the steam that, season 1 built. I was pretty disappointed by season 2. I don't know. We'll see.
News dump. Harrison Ford reacted to Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny flopping at the box office by saying, "Shit happens." I love him.
I just love he's at the, and listen, I never want to grow old and die. I'd rather die before I'm super old. But if I get to the point where I'm at, where Harrison Ford is at, where he's like 83, doesn't give a fuck about anything, but still functioning, I aspire to be like this. He doesn't give a fuck. If you want to pay him to do something, he'll do it. If not, he doesn't care. He also doesn't care if you do. He's really not going to promote your movie either way.
Yeah, he said that he thought they had another story to tell, and he still liked the movie, but sometimes things just don't stick. What are you going to do?
I love this. You don't give a shit.
He also spoke about the Indiana Jones video game and spoke about how they need to stay away from AI and how Troy Baker, who I've already talked about on this podcast many of times, a very good voice actor, brought him to life once again with the facial recognition of a young Harrison Ford. He praised him. And he also said that, because someone asked him about, when when you pass, about your face still being used in these properties. And he's like, I've already been compensated. I don't care.
Yeah.
He's like, keep on doing it.
Another good answer. Who gives a fuck? I'll be dead.
News dump. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, a revival series, is in the works at Hulu, and Sarah Michelle Gellar posted about it on Instagram and said some stuff.
Yeah, so number 1, Buffy's making my pants a stuffy. Good headline, better headline as I'm thinking about it. Buffy's back, all right. You're supposed to hit the all right there with me.
That's okay, that's not bad. I like that.
There's a little confusion here. So number 1, I guess she's been in talks for 2 or 3 years with Chloe Zhao, who will be directing the pilot and maybe being the executive producer on the whole thing. That, of course, is the director of Nomadland, which I believe won Best Picture in 19 or 20. It doesn't sound like Buffy's going to be the main character in this series. It almost seems like she's going to be in it, but not the focal point.
Oh, would she be like the British guy in it?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Name.
Either way, the fact that we're getting her back as Buffy the Vampire Slayer is nice. If she's the main character or not, I'm still going to be back. But this is exciting. This is a formative show for anyone that grew up in the 90s, a formative show for anyone that hit puberty in the 90s. This is going to be awesome.
Because I feel like Xander would fit more into the role of that British guy, right?
Sure. But then also, she teach a young Slayer. Maybe it's like Batman Beyond, but with Slayers.
Okay, that's not bad either. Would Watertown's own Eliza Dushku be involved?
I feel like if you're going to do this revival project, you have to get Faith back in it at some point, right?
And you'd also have to get Gossip Girl's Michelle Trachtenberg, Eurotrip's own Michelle Trachtenberg.
Here's a fun fact. You made out with your sister.
I'm doing a little redesigning in the Gudio right now. You can't tell because I have a plain white screen behind me right now. Subscribe on YouTube. Smash that subscribe button. But I broke out roughly 50 of my old DVDs, and I put them on a shelf behind me. I feel like it's my Criterion closet of the movies that made me. And yes, Eurotrip is one of those movies behind me.
So good. So good. What a segue, Goo.
I know, but first, actually, I'll get to that in a second. Can you, for 20 points, what is the last movie that I bought a physical copy of?
Okay, so for me, I'm trying to think. It was probably a steelbook of Endgame, maybe. And I don't know
That's
if
my
you were.
second to last one.
Oh, that's your second to last one. So you've bought one since. Uh, try- I don't know. I got nothing.
Uncut Gems.
I like that. I like that.
I bought it for the purpose of when I was talking to people about it and they hadn't seen it, I could then
Yeah.
hand it to them.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the boxers, may God rest their souls. I think one of the best ways they started describing movies is a movie you wanted to own so that you could give it to people for
Yeah.
them to watch if they hadn't seen it. And you're right, Uncut Gems is one of those movies.
News dump. Will Forte says that it's fucking bullshit that Warner Brothers shelved his Coyote vs. Acme movie for a $30 million tax write-off. That happened last year. We still have not seen any clippets of this movie. And for what we know, they put the film in the furnace.
Sweating is horse shit.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, for a long, long time, Goo, I'm going to be thinking about both Coyote vs. Acme
Batgirl.
and Batgirl.
Yeah.
I want to see them both so bad now. Like the fact that they took them away from is like, are they allowed to bring them back and just pay the pay back the write-offs they got? Like,
They have to
I
pay the
want to see
government.
these movies so bad.
They have to pay the government money to fucking
Or
put these
should
movies up? No, they're not going to do
can we
that.
start a GoFundMe? Or hey, write a letter to President Trump, and maybe he'll start caring about these things, and then he'll just make them do it.
The last GoFundMe that I started was for them to retroactively put Charlize Theron's bowl haircut on every character in Fast and the Furious 8. I only got like 10 signatures.
Yeah,
I
that
also
makes
started
sense.
one.
Oh no, that's not a GoFundMe. That's the sign the petition thing.
Oh, that's right.
different.
That's petition.org, something like that.
Yeah, whatever the hell that
Because I also
is,
did
yeah.
one that was related to Alf as well, and that didn't take off.
So I guess we'll have to figure out if we need a GoFundMe to pay the money, or if we can just get a petition to get it to the White House.
But Forte said that I like talking about the movie because I want people to not forget, or to forget, people to forget Warner Brothers did this. So not to forget the movie, but to know that Warner Brothers did this. And he said, I hope people do see this. I was really proud of it.
I wonder if there were people at Warner Brothers that like just didn't know Will Forte comedy, because like if you just showed people MacGruber out of context, which there's no real context for it, but like execs MacGruber, they probably don't get it. And maybe this movie was a lot like that, and they were probably like, we can't show this to people.
News dump. And finally, SNL has announced their headliners for their 50th anniversary special, or their first line of headliners. 1 second, my voice sounds terrible right now.
Yeah, I'll run through this here. So
No,
we got
I got
SNL.
it. Here we go. I'm good. Okay, here we go.
SNL 50 coming up next weekend.
Next weekend, Quinta Brunson, Bad Bunny, Sabrina Carpenter, Dave Chappelle, Miley Cyrus, Robert De Niro, Adam Driver, Iowa Debrie, Tom Hanks, Woody Harrelson, Scarlett Johansson, Kim Kardashian, Peyton Manning, Steve Martin, Paul McCartney, John Mulaney, Pedro Pascal, Martin Short, and Paul Simon. And while I do think that some of these people do deserve to be up there with the castmates, like the people that have hosted anywhere from 5 to 20 times. Sure, you have enough sketches in there that you could say that you have a full season of sketches in there. But this special, and we do this often because I hate when they bring in celebrities to voice politicians. This should be about the writers and the cast. Don't make this just a celebrity spectacle.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I'm also confused. So are all of these people going to be in the episode? Is that what this means?
I don't know if these people are just announcing sketches or talking about, like, introducing certain things.
Yeah.
Like, I understand, like, Dave Chappelle has hosted a number of times. Tom Hanks has hosted like 10 times. Steve Martin obviously has seasons worth of stuff. Paul Simon was a part of 2 or 3 of the most iconic moments in show history. So, like, that stuff makes sense to me. But, like, and not to just pick on Kim Kardashian, but what are we doing here?
Good. If I had to say the 4 or 5 people I would most looking forward to seeing at a sketch, Kim might be on it.
But not at a 50th anniversary.
I don't know, because she's so bad sometimes it's good. So I think Sabrina Carpenter and Miley Cyrus are incredibly talented. I would love to see them featured. Adam Driver's episode where he does the undercover boss as Kylo Ren is an all-timer.
He's been a good host. He's only hosted like 3 times.
Yeah, Peyton Manning's very funny. I think Kim Kardashian, they could make her look funny because she's not funny. I'm very interested to see what the musical thing aspect is going to be like. You have Paul McCartney and Paul Simon that have been making music the whole time SNL's been a thing. So
Martin
I wonder if
Short was in the cast. Why is he a headliner?
I don't know.
John Mulaney was a writer there for how many years? Why is he a headliner?
I mean, this whole grouping doesn't really make sense, but I am intrigued as to how this episode is going to come together. Do you think they're going to break mold and do like a 2-hour episode?
The 40th anniversary had a bunch of sketches.
Mm.
This kind of turns me off. What I want this entire thing to be.
Is Bad Bunny hosted?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I want as much Eddie Murphy as possible. Because Eddie Murphy wouldn't do a lot of the sketches in the 40th.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. I was happy he showed up on the 40th and he had a smile on his face. However, that's not our SNL. We didn't grow up on that SNL. I don't find him as funny as people 10 years older or 15 years older than us did.
Yeah.
Like my dad loves the Eddie Murphy SNL stuff. And also, for lack of a better term, some of it doesn't age all that well. Like I'm much more interested in seeing Will Ferrell coming back, Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, that type, you know.
So like my SNL, my personal SNL, because I started watching it when it was on Comedy Central. They would always put on the stuff from 88 through like 2002. So those are my SNL years. But then
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
No, Julia Louis-Dreyfus was the early 80s.
I think she was 85, I want to say.
No, she was before 85.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She was in the Murphy cast.
I thought she was right after Murphy.
No, she was in there with Murphy. I think she stayed on longer than Murphy. Her and Gilbert Gottfried were both in the Murphy cast.
All right. Your dream Hollywood squares. Gilbert Gottfried is my center square. Easy.
Oh, Paul Lynde.
Yeah,
Paul
but
Lynde
he's
was the best Gilbert Gottfried is also, I'm sorry to say this, Mac. Brace yourself. Gilbert Gottfried is dead.
Did Gilbert Gottfried die?
He's been dead for like 3 or 4 years.
Oh, that's going to be a tough one to get into the center square then. All right, right now, James gun to your balls, Sean gun to your head. Who's your center square for Hollywood Squares?
Well, right now on the Nate Burleson hosted Hollywood Squares, the center square right now is Drew Barrymore.
You know what? Drew's not bad. She's zany. She's quirky. She's been around long enough. I don't mind that.
She's surrounded by much funnier people, though.
Yeah, you need the center square to be quick-witted, but also a little smart. And I don't know if Drew has either of those things. But I like Drew Barrymore.
You need your funniest person, your quickest person in the middle.
Yeah.
So Drew,
I'd like a Nate Bargatze maybe right now. Mulaney would be good.
Center square. Other panelists that have been on the show multiple times: Whitney Cummings.
She's all right.
Tiffany Haddish. Tiffany Haddish would be a great anchor in the middle.
She's good. She's good.
JB Smoove.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Julie Bowen, Bobby Moynihan, Thomas Lennon, Pete Holmes. I don't find Pete Holmes funny at all, and I'm sorry to, squash
you. Don't like his college humor Batman?
Not really. Nicole Byer, Drew Carey, Robert Schmeigel. Ooh, Chelsea Peretti. That would be a great center square.
Chelsea is good. Yeah, I do like her. Actually, Sandberg would be great on there, too.
I think Sandberg, not to say that he's above doing that, because, I mean, these are decently,
that would be people, a perfect Andy Samberg thing to like really love Hollywood Squares.
All right. Is there anything else for this episode?
No, we got Super Bowl coming up this weekend. I know everyone hates that the Chiefs are chasing the Pats and there's a chance for a three-peat. You know what I hate more than that?
What's that?
Philadelphia, their fans, that team. I fucking hate Philadelphia. So
I love Saquon Barkley, though.
Go Chiefs. Go Chiefs. Go Mahomes. Go Kelce.
I like A.J. Brown, too. I like individual players on the team.
I hate the Eagles.
Okay, that's good. On Goose Day next week, our episode will be everything but the game. It's like when you go to Trader Joe's and you get some everything but the bagel. It's the delicious seasoning that goes on the bagel, just not the bagel. This will be everything but the big game. We'll talk about all of that and so much more. Any news that comes out during that time. They've pretty much already released every commercial and every trailer that's going to be on that night, but what are you going to do? We'll talk about Kendrick Lamar and how he wasn't able to sing his song because it's not appropriate for broadcast television.
I think he is going to do that song. I don't care for the song. I don't really care for Kendrick. I used to be a Drake guy, not really a Drake guy. I don't like either side of that debate. I don't know. I'm not looking forward to Kendrick Lamar. I'll say that.
Mac is anti everything apparently. And then at
I
the end
told
of
you,
next
glass
week,
half empty.
we're hoping to do Captain America: Brave New World. We'll see how that goes, though.
We're currently getting cucked. We're getting cucked.
We're no longer on Disney's payroll. So check us out then.
I bite my thumb at thee.